talking about the playing small mindset. And the playing small mindset is something that applies to both food and life, much like a lot of the mindsets. The playing small mindset is predicated around the desire to shrink, both the body and the presence of one's life. Sadly, in today's world and historically, a lot of women are afraid to take up space. We're afraid to take up space both in our bodies and in our life. You know, I could spend an entire series of videos just talking about how our culture and our history as being women has affected the way that we relate to food. But for the sake of this video, what I want to say is that the desire to not have an appetite, to not eat, to not have our body take up space really parallels what's happened to females under a patriarchal society and a patriarchal perspective. Women have been taught, sadly, that it is their job to take the back seat, not to take up too much space, that it wouldn't be ladylike and you wouldn't be a good girl if you had a big appetite, if you took up too much space. And what we see is women's appetites and diet culture tends to parallel this desire to be small, to really shrink oneself, and in some ways be invisible. Sadly, for a lot of women, being invisible feels safer than being fully present in your life. And what you see is oftentimes the way somebody wants to feel safe in their body parallels the way somebody wants to feel safe in their life. So we see women trying to shrink and shrink and shrink their bodies and their appetites. How many women have you ever known or feel perfectly comfortable going out on their first date and ordering the surf and turf? I don't think a lot of women do. Most women, whether it be conscious or unconscious, feel like in order to be dainty and attractive that they have to have just a salad, please. Well, the truth is, if what you want to eat is a salad, then go for it. But if you're really hungry and you want a steak and a potato, then why aren't you ordering that? Why is that not attractive? You know, it's interesting how we can glob onto things that we don't even really think about. For instance, why don't women take up more space when they sit? Men oftentimes sit like this, in a wide open body posture, and better for them. I'm not critiquing men at all. I'm just saying, why is it that we as women oftentimes sit taking up smaller space? You see, there's a lot of unconscious processing, and the truth of the matter is, we don't really understand how the generational historical beliefs have been passed down from mother to daughter to mother to daughter to women to woman. And it is just something that we now, in healing our relationship with food and body image, really need to unpack. We really need to look deeper and really explore, how have we been taught not to take up space in our own life? Do we mute our voice? Do we not share our opinion? Do we oftentimes let others take the spotlight and just stay in the background? Are we the wind beneath people's wings instead of really stepping up and claiming our space? There's so many ways that this can manifest in your life. How it manifests in food is by thinking that somehow you're being better than if you eat less. Denying your appetite for food, for power, for sex, for things that would otherwise culturally maybe be told to us aren't ladylike. It's part of diet culture, and it's part of the erroneous mindset that would have us believe that it's not okay to take up space in our life. Not only is it okay to take up space in your life, but if you don't, you will not feel safe. Being small is being timid. Being small is being helpless. So when we're following a diet thinking that we're just going to find happiness at the other end of shrinking our body, what we don't realize is we're giving away access to power, access to strength, access to truth. We think, because this is the way our culture would have it, that we're just on a diet. But that's why it's so important that we recognize what the diet mindset is and what it's doing to us on all levels of our life. It's time we stopped playing small and started taking up space in our life.